Am I live? Ah, I'm really live this time. Okay, guys, I did do this at 11:15, and I most definitely did not get to record myself. So, you're getting this live for the second time. Yay! So one, I am deeply grateful that you are here. Welcome to today's training. I've entitled it Be Kind to Yourself. You may know my name is Sally Wright, and I am so honored you are here. So today we're going to explore something that can transform the way you navigate grief and also transform how you navigate life. We're going to talk about self-compassion. So I don't need to tell you all this. You know already. Grief is one of the hardest experiences that we can go through as a human. And it often brings feelings of sadness, guilt, questioning, even self-criticism. And so in this session, we're going to talk about how self-compassion can help you process these emotions, quiet that inner critic. Mine lives right here, in case you're wondering. And also to help you give yourself the care and compassion that you truly deserve. So this lesson is a cornerstone of the work that I do with my own clients. And I work with women who navigate the loss of a parent. And so together we work on emotional healing, we work on self-compassion, we work on resilience, and a whole lot more that I can't wait to tell you all about. But by the end of today's session, which I think will take about 20 minutes, by the end of today's session, you'll have practical tools to start building a more compassionate relationship with yourself, especially as you navigate grief. Also, down in the first comment is a link for you to download a companion worksheet for this course, for this class. And so it has different information, sort of different exercises than this training, but so you can listen and then work on the other one as well if you want to. So I like to think of self-compassion as a foundation for the healing process. It's like building a house of your own emotional well-being. So perhaps the foundation of the house is your mindset, the beliefs you hold about your own worth, your own value, and even your ability to navigate through grief and care for yourself while grieving. And perhaps the four walls of the house, they're the habits, they're the tools, they're the practices that support your own emotional resilience. And maybe the roof represents, I don't know, peace, clarity, balance that you desperately want to achieve when all of these elements come together. So today we're going to focus on the foundation of a foundation of healing, and it's be kind to yourself. And so we're going to explore what self-compassion looks like, particularly in grief, why it matters, and how to start practicing it today. In fact, as soon as this ends, I hope you'll I hope you'll start. Okay, so first let's take a moment to reflect. Take a deep breath with me. Does this sound like you? Are you harder on yourself than anyone else? Have you thought things like, I should be handling this better? Or, why can't I just move on and get over it? Or perhaps you find it easier to show grace and compassion to others, but when it comes to yourself, it feels not needed or even feels impossible. Y'all, grief is hard enough on its own. And so when this self-criticism creeps in, it can make the process even heavier. So if this feels like you, or this feels familiar, put yes in the chat. And so maybe you've tried ignoring the feelings or pushing through the pain, like just pushing the feelings aside and just sort of walking through the pain, and thinking that being strong means not feeling your grief and not dealing with the emotions. Or maybe you've told yourself, I just need to get over it. The truth is, grief, especially the grief after losing a parent, isn't just something to fix. You know, you don't just take a prescription for it, and you don't just push it away, and you don't just ignore it. It is something that we have to process. And without self-compassion, it's like, I don't know, climbing a mountain or hiking a trail without supplies or a map. And it's exhausting and it's overwhelming. And it can even be dangerous. So today we're going to change that. We're going to fill your toolkit with some practical strategies to help you move through grief with kindness and care for yourself. Okay? You in? Okay. So now let's take another deep breath together. Imagine with me. Instead of being your own harshest critic, what if you became your own best supporter? What if you became the top cheerleader on the pyramid for yourself? When guilt or sadness arises, you can meet those feelings with understanding and not judgment. You can give yourself permission to grieve at your own pace, to grieve in your own style, and to even begin finding moments of peace, even in the midst of loss. This is what self-compassion can do for you. It turns grief from something that is overwhelming and heavy, like you're trudging through mud, into something you can navigate with care and clarity, perhaps like riding a bicycle. So, who is ready to be kinder to themselves as they navigate grief? If you are ready, type ready in the chat. Okay, we're about to move to like the practical portion. And there's 3 steps. Step 1, the first step of becoming aware is to become aware. Awareness of the self-criticism. And so becoming aware of how you talk to yourself, especially during those really hard moments, those most overwhelming moments, the most painful moments. And so many people have this running dialogue in their head. And not everybody, so if you don't worry. I've got some strategies for you as well. But many people have this running dialogue in their head, and it's filled with a lot of critique and self-criticism. And many times it's something we barely notice. You know, it's like the air we breathe. It's just a part of who we are and how we live. But when we're unaware of these thoughts, they can begin to amplify the feelings of guilt, of shame, of sadness, and can make the grief that's already heavy into something that's even heavier. So awareness is this first step to change. And so unchecked self-criticism can keep you stuck in negative patterns, you know, like a negative feedback loop. It kind of takes you backwards or brings you down, preventing you from fully processing, fully engaging your feelings and your emotions, and therefore preventing you from moving forward. Basically, you get stuck. And we don't want to be stuck. We want to move through. We want to process through. Okay, so here's a simple exercise. Over the next few days, just notice when you're critical of yourself. And write those thoughts down on a place in your phone. And then imagine your bestie, your close friend, y'all were over coffee, and imagine she was sharing with you what you were telling yourself. How would you respond? So rewrite that critical thought as a kind and supportive response. So if this step resonates with you, type awareness in the comments. Okay, so the first step is awareness. The second step is practice. We want to practice self-compassion in grief. And we especially want to practice self-compassion during those toughest of tough moments. So, here's another very simple 3-step process. 1, acknowledge your feelings. So when you're in those, they always feel constrictive to me, those tight moments where you feel overwhelmed or just like verklempt by grief. 1, just acknowledge your feelings. It could be something as simple as, this is really hard for me right now. And that's okay. So number 2 is recognize shared humanity. Say to yourself, put your hand on your heart and say to yourself, I'm not alone. Others feel this way too. And then 3, respond to yourself with kindness. You can say something like, I deserve care and understanding. This simple 3-step process helps you meet your grief with compassion and grace instead of criticism. And this will begin reducing the emotional overwhelm and also helping you begin to find the space to process your feelings. Okay, so what happens without self-compassion? Moments of grief can spiral into feelings of isolation, hopelessness, loneliness. And we don't want to go there. We want to move forward. We want to move up. We want to process through. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time you feel sort of in those painful moments of grief, pause. Take a deep breath and say these 3 phrases to yourself. So let's practice them together now. Do you remember what they were? 1, this is hard for me right now and it's okay. 2, I'm not alone. Others feel this way too. And 3, I deserve kindness and care. Does this feel like something you can try? If so, type practice in the comment section. Okay, so first step was awareness, second step was practice. Third step, third tool for the day is daily. Practice this daily. So this final step is building this habit, daily habit of kindness towards yourself. These small daily acts can make huge difference over time. Consistency with self-kindness reinforces a compassionate mindset and creates that space for healing, the openness for healing, even on the toughest of days. So without this habit, it's easy to fall back into those patterns of criticism and even ignoring your own needs, ignoring yourself, and make grief harder to navigate. And so, here's some actions to take. Think for a minute, just a minute. What is one small act of kindness you can do for yourself each day? Perhaps it's something as simple as taking a 5-minute walk, writing in a gratitude journal, or pausing for a deep breath that when the emotions begin to feel overwhelming. So what is one act of kindness you'll commit to this week? Share it in the chat or share it in the comments, and I'm going to ask our group next week, what is one thing we have done kind for ourselves? And then how did it feel? So now that you've learned these 3 steps, it's time to put them into practice. Self-compassion, it's not just an idea. It's not just a book you buy or get given and you put on the bookshelf. It is a powerful tool that can help you navigate grief with greater ease and strength. And so if you'd like personalized support to go deeper and create lasting change, type support in the chat and I'll follow up. And if you're ready, truly ready to take the next step, type next step in the chat. And we'll explore how to integrate these strategies and many, many more into your life and into your healing journey right now. So lastly, thank you for being here and for investing this time in yourself. Remember, being kind to yourself, it's not just about healing. It's also about honoring your grief, holding your grief, and allowing your journey to move. You are worth it. You're an amazing human. You're a beautiful creature. So with that, have a wonderful day. Sending lots of love and hugs.